from the station that's working for you. You're watching Fox 4 News at 9.
Kansas gets tougher on sexual assault criminals. It's all part of the Adam Walsh Act, and this week Kansas became the 5th state in the nation to adopt the law.
In just a few minutes. Steph.
All right, thank you, Joe. A tragic car crash is creating a ripple effect for people all across the metro. 10 years after a little girl's headless body was found in a wooded area, many are fighting to keep her memory alive. Water is rushing into communities in the Cajun country after a controversial decision by the government. But as officials urge people to get out, find out how many are still working to save their homes. Deputies are warning people to get out of low-lying areas in Louisiana. Water is gushing from a floodgate for the first time in 40 years. Now, the government decided to open the floodgate to divert water away from more populated cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, putting a stop to underage drinking in Missouri. The new effort's underway as high schoolers prepare to graduate. Joe?
Perfect sleeping weather.
So, you know, kind of catch up from all the craziness when the weather was nice and you're out doing yard work, and take a good nap. It was a nice weekend.
Some would say that this would have been the perfect nap weekend, like you just said. I would totally agree with that because I took a couple of hours of naps this weekend. So it was one of those wind down weekends, and now let's get going.
Let's get going. It's going to warm up. It's going to be nice.
Definitely.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Well, the Space Shuttle Endeavour is set to blast off for its final mission tomorrow morning. The launch was delayed because of mechanical problems. Meanwhile, crew members can expect a high-profile guest. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords has arrived to support her husband, Shuttle Commander Mark Kelly. Giffords is still recovering from a gunshot wound to the head in January. A piece of Las Vegas's history is preparing to shut its doors for good. The nearly 60-year-old Sahara Hotel and Casino will close down tomorrow. It's one of the oldest casinos on the Las Vegas Strip. Many people are piling into the casino one last time to grab maybe a picture or a playing chip, any sort of souvenir. The Iranian president thinks the U.S. killed Osama bin Laden for propaganda purposes. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad spoke at a counterterrorism conference in Tehran. He claims the terror leader's death had nothing to do with fighting terrorism. Ahmadinejad says the Obama administration simply wants to increase propaganda and win votes during the next presidential election. Fox 4's Tara Hall is working for you to explain how Grandview, Missouri police are ramping up their efforts to stop underage drinking just in time. A young school teacher overcomes the odds, losing 200 pounds, but her biggest obstacle is still ahead. The Fox 4 problem solvers have her remarkable story coming up. Fox 4 problem solver Linda Wager explains a medical problem that results from doing the right thing, losing weight. Even with the doctor's help, though, Erin will still have to raise more than $10,000 for the surgery. A fire has forced a St. Louis theater to cancel 2 performances of a popular musical. That fire broke out in the mechanical room at the Fox Theater. Even though the fire was small, it filled up the auditorium from floor to ceiling with smoke. 2 showings of The Jersey Boys scheduled for today had to be canceled. Regular performances will pick back up on Tuesday after a restoration company finishes cleaning. The Environmental Protection Agency has found high levels of lead in 11 city parks in eastern Missouri. Testing discovered the high lead in city parks in Deloge, Park Hills, and Bonne Terre. In 6 of those parks, elevated lead levels were found in the children's play areas. The toxic metal in kids can affect learning, IQ, and memory. A Missouri woman thought her Social Security would be taken away, and another man found himself being sued for a credit card balance that he says he paid off years ago. Well, it turns out that they were both victims of zombie debt companies. These companies make their money by resurrecting dead debt from the grave. We're going to tell you what to watch out for Monday night on Fox 4 News at 9, right after the Chicago Code. Well, technology is now giving America's armed forces an advantage right in the palm of their hand.
This kid does it all. Does it all.
Well, just that video there, it's wow.
Or the 15 scouts I saw at practice on Tuesday.
Well, it's not in the scheduled lesson plans, but find out how Metro teachers are adjusting their classrooms to deal with the death of Osama bin Laden. And scammers wade through the floodwaters hoping to make a buck. The warning that's going out to people along the Mississippi River. These stories and more coming up on Fox 4 News at 10.